It's 4 teams that enter the winner's bracket side of the semifinals, and it is 2 teams that will arrive into that final spot. But here is one of the 2 teams that will be facing off for one beautiful spot in that finals winners bracket. Top 6 guaranteed for both of these teams, but now is top 3 that they're facing off for. My name is XCXD. This is Taikani, and it's going to be a wild showcase for this matchup here. Semifinals winners bracket, Waddle Dee, OWC ready. You've seen these teams. Waddle Dee has been absolutely going crazy in the bracket so far. An accidental lower seed than usual for the type of caliber players that they have, but they're in the semifinals ready to prove everybody wrong.
Yeah, there's a little bit of wondering early on. They have a low seed, and then they get through their first round with an FF, and it starts to look. The things start to look very, very lucky for them. But the fact that they're here with the score lines that they've had are proof of consistency for this team in Waddle Dee, an incredible North American squad. Of course, on the other side, OWC ready. It's the other America, South America, ready to go. They'll be missing intercamping today, but the rest of the team is here to fight out for a Resurrection Cup winners side final spot. It's gonna be a really, really exciting one.
Yeah, and speaking of this poll, like currently, you're thinking of these players just like the mechanics have to be in par, especially when you have Waddle Dee players, Birchman, Pikapone, Steam Hat, or excuse me, Ninja Bees, aka TS Fury and TTV UFO. Mechanics on that side, absolutely immaculate. You can not go wrong by picking into mechanics because all of those players can play those kind of maps. DT4 will be the first ban. That won't be in the mechanics category, but that will be kind of in the alt category as we kind of run through these sets of bans. And if you guys aren't familiar with the bans with this tournament, we do 2 sets of bans, only 2 maps in the beginning of the set. We play 4 maps, 2 picks from each team, and then we ban the rest of the maps that we were able to ban, which totals up to 4 bans. No more 5 ban coming out from OWC ready, and this is so understandable just because that map is absolutely ridiculous on the 5.5 AR. You need to be able to learn that map to its absolute par because the rhythms and the patterns and the overlapping types of patterning in that map are absolutely ridiculous, which is an understandable ban for OWC ready.
Yeah, don't let a North American squad pick reading. This is something that just seems to be so consistent with the entire region, is just really, really good reading prowess. Waddle Dee, very good on the reading, very good on the mechanics, this team, so absolutely makes sense. The DT4 ban coming out from Waddle Dee, it's a very, very control-heavy map, and you look at the OWC ready roster, and if you know anything about Chileanos, you already know you're not taking them there onto DT4, onto control.
Yeah, taking out the control, aim control maps are a sweet relief for Waddle Dee. There's still a couple of aim control maps such as Hard Rock 3, such as Nomad 3. You can make an exception for Hidden 1 possibly because of the control for the flow and the rhythm and the tapping. Maybe Hidden 3 as well is another aim control map that Waddle Dee kind of needs to work around their bans for, especially in the free mod realm where you have free mod 2, the anti-mod map, kind of resembling that alt kind of aspect in that map. But we are going into one of the more conventional maps in this pool. We are into some Dragon Ball AIM. Fremont 1, first pick coming out from the OWC ready team. It is going to be some beautiful aim, beautiful consistency. Very short map, 2 minutes, a little bit less with 1 minute and 58 seconds. The 9.8 AR is going to make Hidden just a little bit more readable to players that aren't very comfortable on Hidden. But especially with the Hard Rock, circle size 3, you're still going to be in some very, very hittable circle size for your Hard Rock players.
Yeah, this is just like super just straight aim, right? There's not much to this map other than aim. Like this is like a classic love pick, and a classic meme within Latin America as well, right? So it feels really fitting to see the Chilean team pick this.
All right, I think that we did get a little baited from the easy, but anyways. Yeah, I'm excited to see this Chilean team go out on the free mod 1. With the likes of intercamming gone, you do have to work around that roster just for the aim to be a little bit par with Waddle Dee. But especially with Waddle Dee, their aim hasn't been absolutely ridiculous. They're not the best aim team in this entire tournament, but they are one of the best. I mean, if you look at the stats from quarterfinals, you don't have any stats for OWC Ready just because they got their match FF in the round of six, or excuse me, in the quarterfinals. But when you look at the stats, number 3, number 4, and number 9 collectively for Nujabes, aka TS Fury, number 4 for Pikapone, and number 9 for TTV UFO. That is an absolute monstrous performance from 3 of the players from Waddle Dee. Having 3 of your players in the top 10 is absolutely ridiculous in quarterfinals. And now we're into a map pool where 7.6 star rating is going to increase somehow. These alt maps kind of work, these aim maps and everything. The mechanics just become a lot more demanding in these maps, and especially when you're going into more of these higher SR pools, aim control just becomes a more huge aspect in these pools, just because it's more demanding for the SR to be mapped that way, and especially these maps too. But into this Fremont 1, we're just going to pure aim, low BPM, 110 BPM, might be a little higher, I'm not sure, but
it's 220. This is mapped in double time, not the Osu mod double time, but the musical term double time, meaning that this is going to be a 220 BPM aim map pretty much. Of course, the free mod rules of Resurrection Cup, in case you have not watched the map before. 1 player must play hidden, 1 player must play hard rock, and 1 player must play any valid mod combination. A mod combination can mean just 1 mod, but it cannot mean no mod.
Yeah, that's what the no mods aren't allowed in the force mod, technically. The good luck, have fun's coming in the chat. It's time for our first map coming in for the semifinals. There's our first match of the winners bracket semifinals. Waddle Dee versus LWC Ready. The rosters, I believe, Pikapone's in there, Nekore is in there, and I believe you did see a Nujabes as well. There was his, and you got TTV UFO. So those are your starter 3 for Waddle Dee. Those have been pretty much the kind of core for the red team on your left side. But for the right side, with no intercamming, you do have to work it around. But it is Alfie, Nekore, and Gonza.
Yeah, 2 hiddens, 2 hard rocks sorry, 2 hiddens, 1 hard rock apiece. Nujabes and Nekore matching on the hard rocks. Everyone else in the lobby taking hidden, and 3 SSs on Waddle Dee to start. Comfort, but Nujabes, Pikapone, the first 2 to break. Alfie trades 1, but TTV UFO, the only one holding an FC, gets 2 on Waddle Dee.
Yeah, those 2 breaks gonna do a lot of wonders for OWC Ready, but there's gonna be no Corey with the next set of breaks. And it's still Gonza versus TTV UFO, both holding an SS, so that's going to be very important, but that's going to be break on Gonza. So TTV UFO, only SS on the board. We're almost halfway through the map, Taikani, and Pikapone finding another break, but it won't be that much of a matter because TTV UFO still holding the SS.
And TTV UFO not only the only SS, but the only FC carrying a score lead. But you look at the combos, right? And TTV UFO has almost no support. If one of these players can start to help Nekore out a little bit, but suddenly, the story changes. Suddenly, I don't know if OWC Ready has the combo.
Yeah, WC no combo on the board whatsoever. There was a couple of breaks earlier on too, which makes a huge amount of score cap. That's a break from UFO, but that FC onto this last 4th of the map did so much wonders, and it's Nujabes and Pikapone to hold some kind of recovery combo. That's 175k score difference. Not a lot of map left, not a lot of combo on OWC Ready, and I believe that's already the first map done and dusted for the first pick of OWC Ready, and we're already starting off strong and unpredictably with a breakpoint right off the bat, Taikani.
Yeah, once again, Waddle Dee so great at the mechanics, and aim absolutely qualifies as mechanics. Really great stuff from Waddle Dee. A very, very quick map to determine a very, very quick breakpoint. Waddle Dee's pick next means they have a chance to consolidate, go up 2-0 very early on.
Yep, 2-0, very, very strong position to be when you're in the driver's seat for the second pick. Second pick coming in for Waddle Dee. You can pick a little bit into mechanics, as we've seen, especially with OWC Ready and Waddle Dee. The mechanics are pretty much par for both of these teams. But if you want to go into a reading map, Hidden 2 was in there for your choosing, getting into those really back and forths, really kind of cross-screen, low BPM jumps for the Hidden 2 into some doubles, into some not much reading, I would say, but the density makes those aim sections in that Hidden 2 pretty difficult. Fremont 2 still in place for your reading delights, as well as the anti-mod for the precision, but lots of picks for Waddle Dee. I mean, this first breakpoint gives you so many opening lanes. The nomads that we've speaked of, they aren't really slot pooled. I mean, Nomad 1 still going to be your consistency pick. Nomad 2 still on that mechanics pick, stream pick. Nomad 3 kind of a little bit of weird map, as we've seen collectively throughout the entire tournament from round of 32 up to semifinals, with the little bits of kick sliders in their Nomad 3, lots of them. And Nomad 4 just being your typical tech pick.
Yeah, lots of the Nomad pool is open. I would worry a little bit about Nomad 3, Nomad 4. The level of control present is, you know, it's shades of DT4 Waddle Dee, but I absolutely agree. Like, Nomad 1 seems like a great pick when you just want on aim. Hidden 2, when you just won off of UFO playing incredibly on Hidden. Hidden 2 also seems like a pretty reasonable answer, especially given that Nomad 5 ban, so lots of options open for them. The question, how do you consolidate the breakpoint, I think has a lots of viable answers.
Yeah, and they're going straight into Hidden 2. Right off the bat, I mean, you're going to pick your power picks right away, just because of how the bans kind of work out this way. The first set of bans kind of allow you to ban your worst maps off the bat, and with the second set of bans coming just a little bit later into the matchup, you want to get your strongest maps out of the way just as soon as possible, get your strongest points in. So the Hidden 2 coming out from Waddle Dee, perfect placement for maps right here.
Yeah, I love this. Well, like, Waddle Dee, such a strong position off of that free mod 1. It didn't even feel so particularly close just because of that UFO carry. And now you're able to translate on the Hidden that OWC Ready looked really uncomfortable on. This Hidden 2, Pez described it in the showcase as something akin to being like Mayday 2. It is just, it's really tough, super density aim Hidden.
Oh yeah, the density on this Hidden 2, I mean, you're always going to be in this territory of low AR8. It's not the lowest AR in the pool, as that's gives the rec title to Nomad 5, but that has been banned from WC Ready. And with the Hidden 2 coming in, density as it is, you got these really weird triples that are aimed in such a way that is like a triangle pattern, and especially these doubles, some of these overlaying patterns in the key eye sections can throw people off, but the density is what makes this Hidden 2 the difficulty it deserves to be at this stage of the semifinals. And with Birchman, with a team with Steam Happy, aka Plute, Pikapone, and Birchman, I mean, the reading on your team is going to be absolutely on par, and with carries just on Waddle Dee, so easy. But OWC Ready, that doesn't mean they don't have players for that. They do have Alpha Uganza, Nekore. They got some wonderful low AR players for this.
Yeah, absolutely. That said, I mean, it really feels like just a potential Waddle Dee sweep on this Hidden 2. That Nomad 5 ban from OWC Ready was so quick, is all I'm going to say. They do not want to play reading. That was almost immediate. The second they get in the lobby, we're like, we're not playing that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for that Nomad 5, you would absolutely have to spam learning of that map, just because in the last key eye section, it's just density. Every note is perfect stack on each other. You need to go through the editor for that one. But the Hidden 2, pretty much you could sight read this. I mean, it's possible for the low AR players to sight read this map, but as I said, Plute coming in for the Canadian team, it's still going to be your duo UFO Pikapone for Waddle Dee, and I believe it is the same roster again for OWC Ready. A potential breakpoint could happen right here, but you need all three players on OWC Ready to lock it in.
Yeah, but trouble early on, not feeling the comfort. All three, I should say, OWC Ready players finding breaks early on. I think we're going to trade one, but a sign of comfort that they're finding these breaks. TPD UFO trades another, slows the bleed. Flute's still on an FC, the player you ideally want FCing. But OWC Ready's got a long way to go in terms of building up that combo. Nekore finds another break, Pikapone to trade it. Nekore, again, really not comfortable, but you do finally get the Flute break, trading with Alphew going to the Ki.
And I talk about Plute's kind of like hold on these low AR maps. I mean, this man has 99% accuracy into this first Ki. He's finding a couple of more breaks, but that's kind of like a triple break around Waddle Dee. But there's one player that unexpectedly has a huge combo. And I said it before, Gonza's been pretty good at these low AR maps, but finally finds a break there. So advantage towards Waddle Dee. It is not a lot of combo on any side. Alpha is reaching to that 3-digit combo, so it's the only highest combo in the lobby, but it will give them a little bit of dividends when you pull that lead over.
Yeah, Gonza was putting forth the God combo for a second, right? But the aim element of this density aim hidden 2 is what catches them off. Another break to follow alongside Necra, and that's something really, really troublesome because Alpha U is where all your combo is located. Against 3 completely recovered combos, make it 2 from Waddle Dee's. Plute goes down once again, but TPV, UFO, and Pikapone are more than enough to hold off Alpha U on their own. UFO does go down, but Alpha U is the trade in the second Ki, and now it's the Pikapone show.
And this man can hold this map apart from whatever happens, but that is going to be a break on Pikapone. But I think enough damage has already been dealt. This hitting 2 pick is going as smoothly as possible for the side of Waddle Dee. OWC ready is struggling, still in the boat somehow. There is a 90k difference, but into this 1/3 section where the aim just becomes a little bit more snappier. It's not that more difficult than the key eyes, but it's still some part to throw people off. Not a lot of players break on this part. UFO broke before the ending, but that's a 94k lead. And OWC ready down 0-2 with Waddle Dee getting that consolidation very, very early on.
Look at these scores. They look like how Blake Tap types. There's A's and B's across the lobby. A consolidated breakpoint for Waddle Dee. 2-0 start, the ideal for sure for this team. OWC ready, of course, the optimal first pick for Waddle Dee. To have that advantage to force OWC ready that they have to get a breakpoint at some point is really, really comfortable for them.
And that's like already a fast pick. DT2 into the really, really high BPM burst. So we're sitting at around that 200, or excuse me, not that 200 mark. I'm looking at the wrong map here on the sheet, but it is 300 BPM burst that we are lovely going into. Alpha U, Gonza, and Okori have been going at it in these last 2 maps on the free mod 1, now into the hidden 2. And we're going into one of the fastest maps in the pool, and by far, I believe, the fastest map that we have pulled in this tournament. So we have finally reached our 300 BPM territory where the bursts are going to be heavy, the sliders are going to be fast, and I believe when you get into the 8-star territory, it's 2 minutes and 25 seconds, so there's still time for comebacks, there's still time for a lot of combo to build up, but especially when you have players like Matthew on your team, the config control prowess from that man will be absolutely perfect for this map. This DT2 looks so comfortable, looks so much like a good pick for OWC right here.
Absolutely. We haven't seen Matthew quite yet, not on the free mod 1 nor the hidden 2. Coming in would be huge. I imagine you would certainly like to see intercamming on this. We don't know, of course, that intercamming is not present for this match. Either way, DT2, it's what you got to bet on. It's what your team was made to play. Like you said, 300 BPM is this might be a surprise, pretty fast. Now, I'd say personally that speed starts at 301 BPM, but you know what? This is pretty close. So you got to lock in.
Yeah, that's when you're reaching the peak of 300 BPM, you're going to have some fast fingers needed for this, and especially the storylines that are kind of building up for this. While some underdogs in this tournament, especially with some big favorites on the other side of the bracket with 37 AMAC lovers and Slushy, you do have a lot of work cut out for you. Just because you're a 10th seed, you're doubted, you're not going to be the best team in the tournament, but look where you are. You're in the semifinals, winners bracket. You're already up 2-0 in the winners bracket against OWC Ready, which is a 3rd seed, which has been doing quite good, especially in the in the early bracket stages, but now into a semifinals, testing star rating map pool. You need to pick up your weight, and Waddle Dee is already doing that. But OWC Ready, lots of work cut out for them. DT2 is a great place to start that comeback here.
Absolutely. Untested skill set so far in this match, but one that on paper looks really, really favored for OWC Ready. Once again, 300 BPM burst, not playing around on Kakushigoto, is OWC Ready. We already see the full
Anyways.
Waddle Dee lineup. UFO, Pikapone, Nujabes, putting forth the mechanics next to Gonza, Alfiu, and Mathy.
Expected to see Matthew here again. It's the main 3 core for Waddle Dee. Of course, UFO, Nujabes, aka T's Fury, Pikapone. The jumps are for 300 BPM. You expected the burst to be kind of fast. No, you also have some very fast snap jumps as well to deal with. So TTV UFO, first break, Pikapone had an early break as well. But it is the 3 FCs for OWC ready, and the mechanics on that side, absolutely immaculate. And when you have a Matthew on your side, it's going to be very, very smooth sailing here. All players hit that little fast burst right here, and into the first KI we go.
Yeah, strong first KI start. Pikapone goes down once again, and Nujabes once again the only full combo on Waddle Dee. It's getting more and more consequential by the minute as Pikapone is really struggling to find any comfort on this map. 3 FCs still for OWC ready as we exit the first KI. Accuracy is looking pretty solid for OWC ready as well. All of them out accuracying TTV UFO. Gonza holding a monster 98.
Yeah, this is what the speed players are made for. You do have Pikapone, unfortunately, down in the dumps with an unfortunate 200 combo, but is still going to be able to get some recovery combo here. Alfie with the first set of breaks for the FCs on the OWC ready roster. They still had a lot of time for Waddle Dee to try and make a comeback here. That FC is not the biggest problem. You have UFO and Teos Fury back again with these recovery combos. With just 1 FC on Nujabes, UFO with a reverse choke. But Pikapone has combo now. I believe that lead is slowly but surely going to come over to Waddle Dee, and that Taikani is the opportunity that they will have, and they'll try to get now.
Alfiu's break opened it up. Gonza's break invited them in. Matthew, the only FC remaining, fighting against Nujabes' own FC. TTV UFO been draining a lot of accuracy, matching patterns, but it doesn't matter if you're draining accuracy. This is a combo game. This is it. The score of 8-2 is still a ton of combo weight, and you have not only the support of UFO, but you also have the support of a recovered Pikapone. Finally finding their footing in the last half of the map, and suddenly Waddle Dee, the huge score advantage. You lose your FC on Nujabes though. You have to be careful. UFO is who you're looking at, especially as Pikapone goes down, and suddenly Matthew with the reporting combo has time to take it back.
Will they take it back? It's still a little bit of
no!
Matthew, he breaks at the very end! That was it! That was the opportunity! What a tragedy! What a heist!
That was OWC ready. Looked so comfortable. They looked so perfect. They had 3 FCs outside of the first KI. Looked so good, but weren't able to keep it. Got nervous, found breaks, and unfortunately for them, a break point taken against them on a map that looked so favored, on a map they looked so comfortable on. You look at those FCs, you look at those accuracies, and all you can say is they're feeling good, but something happened, and Waddle Dee was able to take full advantage of it.
Cannot believe my eyes. The OWC ready roster with the 2 FCs going into that last half of the map, it felt like it was night and day for that win right there, but who could have thought that Waddle Dee just waddled right over and took that point away from them. That is the absolute robbery that we just witnessed in front of our eyes, and now it is another pick for Waddle Dee here to consolidate yet another breakpoint here, and with a Fremont 2 still on the table, you still got a lot of reading up for par in this pool, but especially with layup picks such as Hidden 2, that's still not the case for you. Avoiding the aim control picks is the name of the game here. Nomad 3, Nomad 4, Hidden 3, Hard Rock 3, and I believe the Fremont 3 and 4 are avoidable maps that Waddle Dee cannot step into. You still have those kind of mechanic maps, I believe, for OWC ready to pick once we get into those later stages of the game, but this is already looking really bad. I mean, Waddle Dee stealing that point is an absolute tragedy.
Yeah, never lead yourself to believe that a Waddle Dee is harmless. Certainly not. And with a chance to consolidate, with a chance to go up 4-0 at the half where we're going to be banning 2 more maps, Waddle Dee in a very, very strong position. They have to consider this next pick very carefully because whatever they pick now is going to be the map that doesn't get banned. If they decide to glaze over a map in this pick, whatever map that they glaze over is getting banned immediately. So they have to be very, very careful, consider it, and Hidden 1 is the pick. Very, very interesting one.
I like this one just because you do have the hidden players, Pikapone, Nujibi's UFO. They're all very good at hidden. They're also really good all-around players. This is the reason why they've been in the rosters for the entirety of this matchup already. But the scary thing about this map is not just because of its flow, just because of the 1-6 rhythms that come out of this map. I mean, the BPM for this map, 190. You expect these 1-6 to be very, very simple and very, very concise, but the way that this map kind of shapes out is that these 1-6 just really be up in your face, really instant, really snappy as well. And there were some parts of this map where you got rhythm changes. There's some 1/3 sections happening in the first third of the map, another in the last third of the map, and as well as the 1-6 also happening within those 1/3 sections.
Yeah, it's a really tough map rhythmically, and that's what I find so interesting about this. This is certainly walking into the territory of control. I think Waddle Dee more than fine testing their fate when up 3-0, knowing that OWC Ready has to get 2 breakpoints in order to win this match somehow. And if they go up 4-0 right at the ban phase, I mean, all you need 6 to win the whole thing. You could be making OWC Ready consider their last pick of the match. So I like this. It's, I would say, a little riskier than the Hidden 2, but Hidden's paid off for them so far. And after DT2, I think they're going to feel a lot more confident.
Well, let's just see how this Hidden 1 kind of rolls out. Expecting the same roster yet again for the Waddle Dee. Is going to be UFO, TS Fury, and Pikapone. And I think for Hidden, with the finger control and the bursts that are required in this one, I think Mathy just kind of comes in as a given for the Hidden 1 here. Alpha U, Gonza, and Nikore. I think Gonza just gets subbed out for Mathy. So it'll be Alpha U, Nikore, and Mathy. I believe there is 1 roster change. I might be wrong about OWC Ready. But with Mathy, there's a no-brainer for this Hidden 1.
Yeah, you need Mathy. You need that big star carry player in this moment for OWC Ready, and you need, not only do you need them, you need them to feel good. You need them to feel confident. Being down 3-0 like this is not the most moralizing thing in the world, and so a lot of this is going to be about shaking off tilt. We see Nujibi's Pikapone and TTV UFO in the lobby as expected for Waddle Dee. They continue throwing this lineup out. They've got 5 players, but all they need might be 3.
All right. Believe the players are in the lobby. It's time for the 4th map. And after this map, it is going to be the second sets of bans that are still very openly up for all these players. But will we see more than 6 maps? The trajectory of this matchup has been Waddle Dee lights out. Absolutely going crazy on these picks that have been happening so far, and it is going to be the core 3 yet again for Waddle Dee. And I believe Matthew will not be in for OWC Ready. Might be the hidden flow that might catch him off. And the thing about this Hidden 1 too is not only the finger control and the rhythm is kind of difficult, as you can see in this section right here. The changes with flow is the reason why this Hidden 1 is so difficult.
Yeah, you see 4 players break, 2 per team, immediately a sign of some of the difficulty present in this map. Pikapone and Gonza, the 2 FCs remaining, as those breaks were so universal and so early, they're not going to be super consequential. The most you're going to look back on them as is mostly being accuracy drops. Pikapone and Nikore especially dropped a lot of accuracy in that early section, but now here's the point where, as the map starts to get more consistent, this is the point where a break might start to matter.
Anyways, into this first section, Ki up and ready to go. Gonza, first set of breaks. But it is the flow that is going to take your combo away. Pikapone and TS Fury to fall apart there too. UFO, the only combo on board for Waddle Dee here as the recovery combos start to build up yet again for Waddle Dee. And it is advantage towards the side of OWC Ready. A couple of breaks on Alpha just because of those 1-6 sections. And it's the reason why this map takes a lot of combos. If you're not ready for these rhythm changes, if you're not ready for the flow changes, you are going to miss some combo. And this Hidden 1 does not let up at all. The difficulty is pretty consistent in terms of in the flow and in rhythm.
Yeah, it's 2 huge combos, Nikore and TTV UFO fighting each other off. Slightly better supporting combo for UFO, as Alpha has struggled to find footing for some time in the midst of this flow. But it's if one of those 2 combos breaks, one of those 2 big guys that things could get really, really consequential really, really fast. Who we're looking at, a Necroid goes down on a slow slider, no less. And suddenly, Gonz is your only somewhat big combo, but Gonz is being matched by all 3 players on Waddle Dee now. UFO in a league of their own. Pikachu and Nujabes are going to make it look a little bit better for OWC Ready, but they still got a tall hill to climb here. 100k is the score lead UFO has to play with here. Only a little bit needed the combo to really feel like UFO's got this secured.
Yeah, this UFO man has been absolutely lights out in the recent tournament history. He's gone through an actual insane Cal run, and now in the Resurrection Cup, he's proving to himself that he is one of the best USA players to ever trot the land. Now it is just a matter of time for this FC to come through. Gonza falls apart, and all eyes on that bottom left player. Finally finds a break on the flow, but what do you know? That is a 200k score lead in the end of it. Waddle Dee, hidden one, amazing picks coming in. The flow and the rhythm working out so well for them as UFO does a lights out performance against OWC Ready here.
UFO breaks in the beginning and then shows them all it was just games anyways. Really, really nice point for Waddle Dee. Not only on the amazing UFO score, but look at those 2 supporting scores as well. Pikachu and Nujabes put up really solid stuff. Also got to shout out Gonza for the 600k. Kind of went unnoticed, but a beast of a recovery combo. And Waddle Dee now up at 4-0. Going into this next band stage, they have only 2 points left to win in order to take the entire thing and move on to the winner's side finals. They're feeling good. They're feeling confident. But OWC Ready, they're OWC Ready, right? They've got some fight in them.
Now, a little bit of untrodden territory for Waddle Dee is that they have yet to kind of go over across the Hard Rock pool. They rarely get to play them in this entire bracket stage. I think the only times they played them was in round of 32 and of round of 16, but only one time, I believe, for both of those matchups. They didn't even play Hard Rock a single time in the quarterfinals. So Hard Rock 3, a pick from OWC Ready, going into one of the more aim control picks excuse me, this is the bands, I believe. No, this is wrong.
Wait, this should
these
be
are the bands. These should be the bands. I already forgot the rules that I set out.
That's okay. I think LP is messing with you. I imagine OWC Ready wants to pick Hard Rock 3, but we actually go into a ban stage right here. So, at this point, both teams will be banning an additional map. These are the second bans that come through normally at the start of the match in the quote-unquote traditional tournament format. But we see this a lot with a lot of open ranked team tournaments that we have these mid-match bans. But I mean that Hard Rock 3 not immediately going to be played, because this should be the second ban phase.
Yeah, the second ban phase is going to be pretty important. We talked about earlier this matchup where you need to pick your best maps right off the bat, especially in a ban phase such as this one, with the first 2 bans being DT4 and Noma 5. Now with the second set of bans here, you can kind of like learn how Waddle Dee is kind of playing if you're OWC Ready. Banning out those aim flow pick maps with the aim control aspects that the maps have been kind of laying out. You could possibly be banning Nomad 3 and Nomad 4 because of that hidden one win, or especially the aim picks and the low AR picks that have been happening. Maybe Fremont 2 is another ban that you can consider. With the Hard Rock 3 pick kind of being noticed by Waddle Dee, so a little bit of unfortunate information being revealed early on from OWC Ready. Waddle Dee might take the Hard Rock 3 information and possibly just ban it right out, just so they don't have to deal with the aim control that OWC Ready couldn't pull out. But 4-0 lead for Waddle Dee right here. It needs to be absolutely picture perfect for OWC Ready now.
Yeah, Waddle Dee could absolutely just snipe the Hard Rock 3 ban. OWC Ready, like it's a pretty common mistake to make. I don't blame them, but it is unfortunate. What they ban is a little harder. Yeah, now Hidden is mostly gone. Waddle Dee will not be picking Hidden 3 in this match. You're not gonna have to worry about banning that. Fremont 2 is certainly an option that you can ban. It is AR8 with Hidden option. At least one player is going to have to play Hidden on that. But because of the Hard Rock element, there is more of an idea too. You could still play that map, but it certainly seems on paper like the best immediate obvious ban that they could go for.
Yeah, this is probably the most understandable ban. The Fremont too, yeah. Speaking of the low AR chances that you have to go against another Plute Masterclass, Fremont 2, understandable ban. One of the most makes sense bans so far in this pool, especially the number 5 that OWC Ready already put out. But now, Waddle Dee, a ban coming out. You had a lot of time to think. There was a little bit of error with the referee, so use that extra chime to kind of chime in an extra ban, an extra kind of think or two. And with the map still kind of laid out, we have yet to see a Noma be played in this best of 11 series. I think you kind of go for that Hard Rock 3 ban, which we've seen that OWC Ready wants to go pick that. So if that doesn't get banned, I believe that might be the pick that comes out when this ban phase is over. Maybe another ban from Waddle Dee could be that Nomad 3, Nomad 4. Those aim control maps have been absolutely wrecking teams left and right in the lower bracket as well.
I was going to say, Nomad 3 could be a very understandable ban here. I would say even more so than the Hard Rock 3. Even if you had that information revealed to you already, it's just more standard than the Nomad 3 is. The Nomad 3 is this very, very strange tech alt hybrid, and it's really cool, but it's really hard. And it might not be the kind of thing that Waddle Dee wants to risk OWC Ready picking into. You already know what their next pick is. You could take it away, so the question is more about the question of the macro. Do you feel like your team is better off if you take the next pick away?
I think it's just a matter of how you feel. It doesn't mean that Waddle Dee's not bad at Hard Rock. No, that doesn't mean it at all. I believe in the quarterfinals, they kind of ranked, or excuse me, in the round of 16 and the round of 32, they ranked pretty high. Oh my goodness. That was a big stall for the Hard Rock 3 ban. They saw the pick come out, and the extra information that was given out will be used against them. Unfortunate ban, unfortunate information leaked, but it is that Hard Rock 3 ban. And you're going to look at OWC Ready, it's like, wow, that kind of just sucks. I guess that's just how the boat flows.
It's an unfortunate blunder for OWC Ready. It happens, and it's sad. But it seems like Waddle Dee probably took a lot of time to discuss it, and an immediate DT3 pick. So OWC Ready was probably ready for this scenario where it's like, hey, we might have just essentially chosen our own ban. Let's talk about a plan B. And this plan B is going to be pure stamina at 232.5 BPM, mapped by 228, is Cola Cole 5-1.
The DT3 coming in from OWC Ready. If mechanics don't work the first time, surely they'll work the second time, but I believe this is the map where OWC Ready might be a little bit more favored than this one. Stamina is the name of the game for this DT3, apart from that 300 BPM burst map that we played for DT2. And when you're thinking about stamina, you're thinking about those very, very flowy, very, very dense streams for this 232 BPM map that is going to be providing for us today. And 232 BPM, as I said, very, very high stamina, considering nowadays is kind of like a walk in the park for these top players. So, but when you look at this DT3, these streams, and I mean it, on a Dash 45 map like this, they're long. So OWC Ready pick, very, very comfortable here. But this is one of the biggest must-wins here.
Absolutely, potentially your final pick for OWC Ready. DT2 was so close. It was unfortunate, but they showed comfort in the early parts of the map. As long as they can recover the mental, they can recover the mod. So this DT3, like you said, must win, and I think they can do it. I think OWC Ready has a very talented roster, can pull this DT3 together. DT2, it was a mistake. All that shows on a scorecard is who won it, but if you look at the actual individual scores on the map, you see a very different story on that map. So absolutely winnable is the TP3.
Yeah, you did mention, and I was about to mention how that DT2 was basically a win by smallest margins just because of that one break the math we had at the absolute end of the map, and which makes up for the fact that this DT3 could go either way. And especially when you have unfortunate misses like that one, doesn't tell the whole story of this matchup. This 4-0 kind of just shows that, like, you win by the smallest of margins, but you're winning the matchup by absolute huge steppings. And now the good luck have funs are coming around. Waddle Dee looking for the third breakpoint in a row, as OWC Ready have yet to pin themselves to the board.
Here we go. It's classic -45. No nonsense. Pure stamina mapped by 228.
If you know the formula of the Dash 44, or excuse me, Dash 45 maps so far, you know that they kind of start out with some very simple burst in the beginning, but as soon as the map kind of progresses, the more stamina required, the more dense these streams become. And you can see how this map is laying out how much stamina is going to be required by the end of the 3 minutes that we have for this GT3. It is still the 3 FCs on, excuse me, the 6 FCs on the board. TS Fury finding an unfortunate slider break, but nonetheless very, very early in the map. But it is already a quarter in the way through, so that combo might make a huge difference if no breaks happen in the next minute.
Yeah, accuracy playing a big part in the building of the score lead early on for OWC Ready with this much density. There's a lot of score lead to build. The accuracy is just looking better across the board. All of the players above 99 is a similar story to how the DP2 looked in the beginning. All of the players were just pushing super high accuracies. Alfie is going to go down on the first big stream, traded by Nudibet, who had already broken before, so not the most consequential trade to get. 2 FCs apiece, but because of those accuracies, OWC Ready is sitting pretty.
Yeah, I mean, the early break that TS Fury had kind of faltered the balance in terms of the combo and the score, but the stamina right now kind of faltering for Birchman. You can see the ending of these streams are dropping a little bit. Alfeu, he finds a little bit of a later drop here, so there's going to be 2 FCs currently apiece for both teams. Nujabes, aka TS Fury, on a little bit better supporting combo. So if Alfeu can stabilize the combo and stabilize the accuracy, it might be enough to deny a comeback from Waddle Dee.
Yeah, like you said, Birchman is not feeling comfortable right now. Is having issues aiming things super accurately earlier, and now draining accuracy as they're desperately trying to correct their aim. A quarter of the map left to go. It is not locked up for OWC Ready, and we've seen Disaster strike before, so they have to be completely locked in on this KI. The tapping here just a little bit tougher. More bursts to throw you off. Alfeu to find another break, because that's not your most consequential combo. That said, with the Nudibus recovery, it's certainly doable. That score lead is going down. Huge long streaks, huge hand control requirement. Birchman goes down. That's one of your FCs. At a low accuracy means that Birchman is going to be contributing almost no score to this team. As long as Gonza and Nathan can both hold on, it doesn't matter what happens with Alfie. They will be able to put it over the finish line, but it's not done yet. They have to hold on. The hardest aim control present in the map. It takes down Peekabone, it takes down Birchman. Nudibus alone cannot do this. And OWC Ready, despite the doubts, despite the fear, it's instilled by the DP2. It is enough. Over 2,000 combo for the 2. It's 2 FCs and a point on the board, finally.
One of the most needed points in this matchup for OWC Ready, and it is going to be on establishment. It's going to be statement on that DT3. The 5th map, and couldn't have come any sooner, as the Iris team finally finds themselves on the board. And Daikini, it's scary just because you finally get yourself on the board, but are you in the game well enough to be able to make a comeback? It is a 4-0 lead, now a 4-1 lead for Waddle Dee, and you have 2 more picks still available from Waddle Dee. Still so much leeway for Waddle Dee, but so much thin room for OWC Ready.
All right, let me issue you a little correction. Only 1 pick.
Oh,
no,
3 picks.
Yeah, so if Waddle Dee wins this next pick, then it's OWC's Ready pick. OWC Ready's pick. If they win that, then that's game. So Waddle Dee technically only 1 pick. They're playing 1 pick at a time. OWC Ready as well. But let's play a scenario here. OWC Ready win this next pick. It's a break point. They get up to 4-2, and then they win their consolidation pick. Let's say, for example, like a No-Mod 3. And suddenly it's 4-3, and suddenly it looks a lot closer. So, in terms of how behind they are, they're not so behind, right? But they need a breakpoint soon. And ideally, this map is where they get a breakpoint, because they have to get 2 at some point. Of the 3 maps remaining that Waddle Dee could pick into as the match goes on, OWC Ready needs to win 2 in order to get themselves back in the running to win the match. That much would secure a tiebreaker for them. 3 breakpoint wins would win them the match outright.
Yeah, that would be a 5-in-a-row run, as Taikini kind of describes right here. If you're getting all 3 breakpoints and as well as 2 of your own picks, an absolute statement, especially against a team as Waddle Dee, which is a kind of collective of OWC Canadian roster as well. But
plus
so
UFO.
much work to do. Plus UFO, upcoming OWC USA player. Better make the team.
I hope. Frankly, I don't think, you know what? Here's my opinion. I don't even think UFO needs to try out. No Mod 4, very interesting. This is not your normal tech No Mod 4. No, no, no. This is CS 6.3. What the hell is going on?
Yeah, this is... I did mistakenly say this is a tech map, but I do remember seeing this map in the showcase. This is one of the more snap aim No Mod 4s. 152 BPM does not justify how fast the aim is in this map. It is going to be aimed by 16th notes, so it is going to be pretty fast. But with the 9.2 AR and the 6.3 circle size, it somehow makes these jumps really dense somehow, just because of the 9.2 AR. And OD10, the accuracies for this map won't be that hard. It's basically just jumps. There's a couple of triples, there's a couple of bursts in this map, but the precision on the 6.3 circle size for the 9.2 AR is why this map is so difficult in terms of precision. But Birchman picking it out for Waddle Dee, this is a very scary pick, just because OWC Ready, we have yet to see the precision come out yet from this roster. They are still really good at precision, but are they good at this level where the 9.2 AR kind of changes the variables of this No Mod 4?
For sure. Testing the waters with precision given the free mod 2 ban. If this precision pick goes well for Waddle Dee, there's an opening for a Hard Rock 2 pick later down the line. So an interesting opening for them of a new angle in this match. I think there was stuff based on stuff they had won in the match that was still open. I like this idea of just trying everything out while they still have a huge breakpoint lead. Could it be the one? Of course, very, very talented roster on this kind of... It's weird because this is not a mod slot, right? This is our first no mod pick of the pool, but the skill set associated is usually associated with mod slots, right? Density aim and precision aim. And this kind of weird alt that's not like a no mod 3 kind of alt. That, like, it feels right at home in a mod pool, but here it is in no mod 4.
Anyways, No Mod 4. It is a very important map for OWC Ready to win this, because it sets you up for a huge comeback. You want these 2 breakpoints to not come for those last 2 picks that Waddle Dee has, because that has a lot of pressure added onto those last 2 picks that they have. There's No Mod 4 with 6 maps picked, and as our 6th map is going to start up, Waddle Dee looking for that match point potential, climbing themselves up into a 5-1 lead, and if potentially just sweeping this entire match up down the drain. But OWC Ready, they are ready for what's ever to come for the future of this map.
Yeah, 2 minutes 19 separates us from a potential Waddle Dee match point or a potential comeback story for OWC Ready. Tensions are high. Nearly must win for OWC Ready to get this breakpoint on the board. Early breaks from TTV UFO as they adjust to the map. Accuracy drops across the board, really, except for Peekapone, who's having the time of their life. That said, their teammates as they break, not going to be the happiest about that. Early combo lead, OWC Ready. There's a lot of map left to play.
You can see how this map is kind of like tripping up those players that are not very comfortable at the position, but as well as people that are not very comfortable at that low AR, 9.2 AR for the precision. TS Fury the first set of breaks, but it is going to falter mainly every single person on Waddle Dee, as there are 3 FCs on the side of OWC ready. It is a 2-minute 19-second map. We are almost halfway through the map, and these 2 FCs are doing wonders as that score lead going up to 150k. Might as well reach 200k soon, but Nokore fighting the first FC down, or excuse me, second FC down. Gonza as well. And so Taikani, it is basically neck and neck in terms of combo, but the score lead difference from OWC Ready is just so significant.
The score lead difference is huge, but an LPU break opens things up for a comeback. Nujabes breaking once again. It means that that's one less combo of confidence. But as long as TTV UFO and Pikapone together can hold on, they can keep this score lead coming their way. It's a huge KI coming up. Nekray finds a break, and suddenly Gonza feels like left alone against TTV UFO and Pikapone. That score lead is coming back their way. It looked like it might have been a mistake from a team-wide brick is coming right back over. Pikapone finds a break. TTV UFO is still holding on to the combos. There's no combo left on the side of OWC Ready, and with a quarter of the map left, TTV UFO only needs to play it a little harder, a little longer in order to secure it. Nujabes, it's solid supporting combo. It's going to be enough to keep them off, and Waddle Dee looking to secure a match point. It looked like it might have been a disaster after that whole team wipe early in the map, but going to make a comeback. Okay. This is consistency from TTV UFO to clean it up.
5-1 win up into that match point, and now that was a 4 miss from TTV UFO. That combo at the ending, one of the harder sections of the map. That's an absolutely ridiculous score from the man himself. Pikapone and TS Fury not far behind with A ranks as well, as very low miscounts as well. But the unfortunate misses from Alphiu, Nokore, and Gonza just gives Waddle Dee that edge to try and take that back. And that is going to be a 5-1 lead very, very comfortably on the side of Waddle Dee, as one pick coming in from OWC Ready. There was 4 picks left on each team, or excuse me, 2 picks left on each team. And you need to win 2 breakpoints in a row for OWC and 2 picks of your very own. So it's basically 4 points in a row that you have to win if you want to force this tiebreaker.
4 picks in a row, indeed a daunting task, but who else to stand up to it? You're here in the winner's bracket for a reason, after all. Down a player and still making these maps total fights, right? DT2, no mod 4 as close to B. This next pick has to be very carefully considered. Where do you go? You only have a DT3 to your name. Do you keep pushing those tapping mechanics? You have a 200 BPM flowing map in No Mod 2, or you have DT, and DT it is 255 BPM is Mao's map of not found. This one going to be a lot heavier on the aim than the previous DT picks that we've seen. That said, there's still that little bit of tapping, right? 255 drum and bass. I mean, there's always going to be a little something, a little spice.
Yeah, DT1. It's a little bit of swag D&B, as we describe it in the Mapo notes. I think very much likely just going to be your consistency pick for the DT1. 10.3 AR as usual. It's a little bit short, 1 minute 42 seconds, but it is just technically those consistency jumps, consistency burst, and just how much you can kind of handle those mechanics at that 255 BPM mark. But this is a gauntlet that you have to go through for OWC Ready. I believe there's still a couple of good picks for Waddle Dee left in the pool, and with precision kind of going the way of Waddle Dee, Hard Rock 2 looking a little scary now for OWC Ready, just because Waddle Dee has been absolutely lights out in every single pick that has happened so far in this Resurrection Cup semifinals versus bracket.
Yeah, Waddle Dee has they've really been the surprise of the tournament for me, right? Just consistently performing in every match where I'm going to be honest, I doubted it a little bit, but I've seen the magic, Exia. I truly have. And now at another match point, the question is, they're on the putting greens now. Can they get that ball in before it's too late? OWC Ready, of course, a very talented squad themselves, still got fight left in them. This DT, absolutely the place to go. Finish out this pool. Try and find their fight left.
Anyways, it's DT1. As we said before, consistency. With the storylines kind of building up for this, that winner's bracket match, or excuse me, Waddle Dee has been historically missing out on that top 3 recently in the past Resurrection Cups. And this is their one opportunity to finally get themselves into that grand finals kind of area for the first time in Resurrection Cup 2026 history for themselves. Waddle Dee, a huge monumental accomplishment could happen if you just win one more map. It is 4 chances, and if those 4 chances don't cut, you do have a tiebreaker waiting for you, but that is down the absolute long winding road. And here we go. DT1 Taikani. Could be the final map, could be the other maps that are going to be the finals, but it is DT1.
Yeah, super, super tough, old map at that. And here we go. Pigapone, UFO, and Gonza all break in the beginning. It's 1 FC on Waddle Dee, Nudibet versus 2 Alfeu and Matthew up in the beginning. But it's a tough, tough map. It's a fast one. Matthew's going to go down next. Alfeu versus Nudibet is the FCs remaining here. The little light tech elements, a very, very interesting element of this map. Catching people off guard just a little bit. General combo advantage to OWC Ready. Alfeu just has the better support for now, especially in terms of accuracy. UFO going to go down once again, not really helping in that. At the break, halfway through the map, these teams see what's up. There's so much map left to play. There's so much density left. Look at these scores. They're not very high. The hardest part of the map is upcoming. Any break right here is going to throttle your score to a halt.
I believe it's just the one break from CTV UFO that's making this difficult for Waddle Dee to make this comeback. But now, into the last section, Pigapone, where is the break coming from? And that was just so unfortunate, as this last section right here is just kind of smooth sailing because of the mechanics that is required for this. But look at the OWC Ready roster, Alfeu, Matthew, Gonza, they're doing it together. They're making it work. And it's a beautiful 3-way, huge combo. Beautiful from the OWC Ready roster, Titan.
Nujib is still FCing, but it doesn't matter. There isn't a team. Alfeu's gonna break the FC for OWC Ready. And ironically enough, it looks like the only FC finishing might be on the losing team, as Matthew and Gonza have put up incredible supports next to Alfeu. Look at that. I'm calling the 850k a support combo. What are we doing? DT1 absolutely dominant for OWC Ready. Their second dominant pick in a row after that DT3. Unfortunately for them, that's the end of the DT pool. Losing that DT2 is, once again, just a tragedy, just so awful for them. Because imagine if they just clean swept that DT pool, we'd be looking at a completely different match at 4 and 3. Instead, we see 5 and 2. It's still scary. Waddle Dee, the next to pick, potentially the last to pick. But a little more confidence in OWC Ready. Hey, we've got it on something.
That's 1 out of 4.
1 out of 4.
Out of 4.
It's got to start somewhere, right?
It's got to start somewhere, and this is where you're gonna do it. But it's an absolutely huge task against Waddle Dee. We've been saying this time again that this is probably one of the more harder teams to do a comeback against. That 10th seed is so delusional, or so delusional that it's just so impossible to try and make a comeback against these caliber of players. But OWC Ready, that's the team that Taikani said to make up for the task. And you do have, I believe, a couple of more mechanics picks in the pool, Noma 2, and that's no more DT picks for you guys. So all DT picks picked from OWC Ready, they're all gone. They're all rinsed out. 2 out of 3 have been won from them. So if you're thinking of a mechanic pick, go into Noma 2 later on down the road. But OWC Ready has to go through a Hidden 3 gauntlet.
All right, Alt Tech is very, very interesting to see. Hidden 3? Okay. So obviously Waddle Dee could win this and the match could end, right? But if OWC Ready win this, Nomad 3 is the freest pick in the world. Because you know what else is Alt Tech? Nomad 3!
Nomad 3.
So this one, this could be the very interesting opening that we've been looking for OWC Ready to start clawing things back. It's got to start somewhere, and somewhere might very well just be here. But it's a harder ask than I'm implying, right? Brand new map by Fox, and this one, 150 ppm, not 250. Dear Lord, no. It is still going to be a pretty hard ask to FC this for any given player. So to put up a consistent score on this is going to be like, you know, put up like a 500k for your team, and you're doing God's work.
All hidden maps picked from Waddle Dee, as well as all the DT maps picked from Iris, aka OWC Ready. There's a very weird stat in the bottom of your screen to see. As you can see, the red hexagon, and as well as the blue flower on the map pool pick screen at the bottom right. But nonetheless, it just shows who's very strong at those skill sets in Hidden 3. Waddle Dee, aim control in Hidden, it makes sense. It makes so much sense for their side, but it doesn't mean OWC Ready isn't really good at these maps. I mean, you've seen in that... Yo, I don't know what map we've got to talk about, but yeah, you've seen in these past OWC Ready round of 16 that they've been really good at aim control. Even their entire roster is kind of really good at the aim control. But Hidden 3 is a different kind of aspect just because Waddle Dee picks it, but it's also hidden. So TS Fury, UFO, Pikapone, that's the roster I believe that's going to be for Waddle Dee, and I believe it's going to be the same three again for OWC Ready with Alfie, Gonza, and Nikore. Intercambig would have been absolutely beloved to have for that team, but especially when you do not have him for this matchup right here, it does make picking these maps around your team a little bit more difficult. But good luck, have fun, have finally started. Hidden 3, potentially the last map, or do we go one more into the 10th map of this matchup?
Matthew's back in, the big man for the big job. OWC Ready, life on the line here in the winner's bracket. Loot? Yeah, that's a very interesting pick. Not what I expected.
Also, yeah, Plute's actually makes sense so much for this. I did forget to mention, Plute's also available for these hidden picks like this one. UGB is a K2's Fury. He's very comfortable at hidden, but I think when you look at Plute in such a hidden grease like this, it makes so much sense to replace him over TS Fury. But early break from Pikapone, not going to be the hugest concerns, but it is another break. So now that concerning lost combo is now going to be a warning sign for Waddle Dee. So you need to pick up the pace if you're a UFO and Steam happy, but you can see how these sliders, how this alt tech is kind of shaping out. Matthew first break for OWC Ready, Gonza second break, and now with Taikani, it is just UFO and Alpha up to the pedestal to hold these FCs for the team.
Yeah, and it's neck and neck. It was a slight combo advantage to OWC Ready for a minute, but now Waddle Dee able to crawl it back and start making a dent, but UFO's going to go down. That's the opening right there. The player you want to see break, but Alfie trades it. So overall, it's slightly higher combos to Waddle Dee as the opponent, well, not Plute anymore, have made recoveries. Once again, it's as even as it could be. Tense as halfway through the map, we've essentially gone nowhere in terms of the built-up score difference. We've essentially lost an entire minute to nothing, but Pikapone goes down on nothing once again. Seems to be the story here for Pikapone in this match, and suddenly it's a combo advantage to OWC Ready. Blue finds a break. Alfeu does trade one, what you want to see, but only UFO is fighting. Matthew goes down, and so it's UFO versus Gonza. It's a big story in the final quarter here. Only a 30k lead is not that much. It can go anywhere. Come on. Blue, Matthew, they trade breaks again, but it's UFO and Gonza that you have to be looking at here. They are the most consequential combos in the lobby. They are the make or break, do or die players as we enter the final 8 of the match.
Oh no!
You have to go down. Is that enough?
I don't think it is.
I think they're fine. I think they're fine. I think OWC Ready might have secured this, but it's really close. I don't know. Okay.
7.838k. That's definitely a nails text if I've ever seen one. And 2 S ranks on the board for UFO and Gonza. And that's a couple of combos that is so scary, Tyken.
Exia, it starts somewhere. It starts right here, you win DT1, you finally get the break point you've been looking for all match on that hidden 3. Revenge for how close that DT2 was. Finally, for OWC Ready, Retribution, and given a chance at life here, you pick No Mod 2, rely on that tapping a little bit, although that one is going to be a lot more like flow aim centric. You can pick into No Mod 3, very control alt centric. That's the skill set you just won on. I don't think you're ever picking free mod 4 because I don't think you want to give Waddle Dee more hidden. I think you've learned your lesson on that. But the pool is open for them, right? I think to me it really is either No Mod 3 or No Mod 2. You could also look at the Hard Rock picks, but it's a little dicey. You don't want to go back to Precision Aim, likely, because of what happened on the No Mod 4. You don't want to go to Hard Rock 1 because of what happened on the Free Mod 1. So I really think you're looking at those two No Mod slots, whether it be the No Mod 2 or the No Mod 3. The question really that you're grappling with is, do you think that the No Mod 3 is a comfortable pick given how close the hidden 3 was? Oh my god, Free Mod 3 is... I forgot about 3 Mod 3.
This makes so much sense for OWC Ready because this is not your typical Free Mod 3. The Free Mod 3 that you usually think of alt attack, that's in Free Mod 4. This is aim and burst. This isn't as that Free Mod 1. As consistent as this Aspen map tends to be, the Column 3 map that we're about to play, it's very, I would say, just concise and burst. Conventional in mapping, but in such a way where you still need that little bit of awkward comfortability on this map. This Free Mod 3 might backfire. The No Mod 3 was looking good because Oat Milk wanted the map to get picked. I was seeing in the chat, but that would have been fine to pick the No Mod 3, but maybe Waddle Dee down the last map, if it ever gets to, could pick the No Mod 3 later. But this Free Mod 3 makes sense, especially with the roster that has happened with the DT3 that we just played, DT1 as well. It kind of plays like that DT1 a little bit. So it's 3 mod 3. Very, very scary, but very, very comfortable and makes sense a lot.
Yeah, I mean, you did lose on free mod aim at the very beginning of the match. Of course, a very, very different kind of aim map. So a different challenge here, but if OWC Ready thinks they can do it, really believes that the free mod 3 is looking strong after that DT3 to hidden 3 to DT1 kind of combo of wins finally on the board, and you have to believe in your mechanics here. Your final pick in this match, whether or not you win it, chance to put themselves at 5-4, a chance to put themselves a chance at the break point, and a chance and a chance and a chance at tiebreaker.
I think for the rosters for Waddle Dee, I think it's basically the core that you put in UFO, TS Fury, and Picapone. OWC Ready. I think with the burst in this map, you do maybe put Matthew in, but he's more comfortable on these kind of like longer speed maps that we've seen in DT1, DT3, and DT2. So I believe it should just be Alpha U, Gonza, and Nikore. Matthew, I believe, is in the lobby. So yes, the burst for this map are going to be in that comfort zone for the man himself. And I believe it is still the 2 hiddens, 1 hard rock for each team apiece. It is 5-3 score lead for Waddle Dee, but all could change with just another breakpoint OWC Ready has to take on. But this is another map that they have to win. They're one of their own picks. Here we go.
Gonza and Nujabet's on the hard rock. Everybody else in the lobby on it. The hidden get hyped for a real tough one. It doesn't stop. This is how Aspen maps work. Grind all the way through for only 2 minutes, though. Every single break you see is going to be very consequential. It's going to affect the swing of the score a lot. In the first quarter of the map, not a single player is going to find a drop. 2 SSs as well, 1 per team. Jumps of accuracy on Nujabes. No such on the entirety of OWC Ready. Is going to give them a slight accuracy lead for now, but we're in the slow section right now. It's about to get much more intense.
That's pretty short. 2 minutes. 500 combo in, and everyone's already at that 300k mark halfway yet. We have yet to see a break. So this is the scary part of this map because the map kind of starts at this last half, which is starting to begin now. We are entering into that territory where the bursts become a little bit more. And Daikini, the 6 FCs are still up, but this scary part of the break.
Make it 5. Althew's going to make it 4 right as well. It's even Stevens here. 2 FCs apiece. On the Hard Rock and the 2 hidden players remaining on Waddle Dee in the final quarter of the map. It is not comfortable for anybody yet. Exia, there's still much more map to go. 200k about worth of score to gain for either player. The question is, does any player drop right at the end here? A drop right at the end is essentially a death sentence for any team. But everybody looks so comfortable. And as long as Gods and Magic can hold to these last few bursts, they do! It's 5 and 4, Exia! And we've got 1 pick left in the regulation of picking Waddle Dee to decide the final swing for this match before a potential tiebreaker. OWC ready. At some point, they were down 4-0, and suddenly it's 5 and 4, 1 away from evening the score. Right in front of the tiebreaker. Is OWC ready?
Is the force going to happen? Are we going to see the tiebreaker? Another fun fact about this matchup, we still have yet to pick the original. The originals have yet to get picked. And we have a chance.
Original, dude. I'm losing my mind about it, actually.
Yeah, we still have Nomad 3, which is one of the customs. Every single map that has been avoided so far have been the customs. Nomad 1, Hard Rock 1, and Free Mod 4, which are the originals. And the Nomad 3, Oat Milk map by him, is that other custom. So the only maps that aren't customs are Nomad 2 and Hard Rock 2, which in Waddle Dee's case are still kind of decent maps, still dicey as Taikani said, but the Nomad 3, Nomad 1 kind of being that aim kind of pick that, or excuse me, that Nomad 1 being the aim pick consistency, just straight up that beautiful Nomad 1 that everyone knows and loves. Free Mod 4 being that flow tech map on the log, parentheses, original, and the Hard Rock 2 just going to be that very, very aimy, low BPM, 175 BPM light tech aim pick. Hard Rock 1 being the mech tech map, which is essentially kind of good for both of these teams. So any map you kind of pick into is kind of going to be that dice roll, that coin flip. It's very, very scary for both of these teams now because of how much uncomfortability is going to be in these new maps that are going to be coming up.
And Fremont 4, there we go, Resurrection Cup Original, and it actually surprised me. I was kind of expecting a Hard Rock 2, just given how the Nomad 4 went, but Fremont 4 is going to be a lot different. It's on a flow tech map mapped by Type 4, and of course, an original track by Log, also known as Osu Mapper Ohm as well. So Log's been around, knows how to make a great tech song, and Thanks for Your Raving is exactly that. I love this song. I talked about this on Showcase too. This was my second favorite song in the tournament behind the one that I mapped. This song is really, really awesome. It's got this like old school trance vibe. It's really, really awesome. Log killed it on this.
Oh yeah, this man is absolute genius for musical prowess. I mean, this man made a really good custom and a really good original for the Free Mod 4. Is the map up to par? Yes, it is. Type 4 has been absolutely on a tear with the custom maps lately with a couple of the recent tournaments that have been happening, but especially for Resurrection Cup, this has been absolutely beauty to watch be mapped, and as well as going to be played soon in this last map being picked for the Resurrection Cup winners bracket match here. Semifinals. This is a ticket to that top 3 guaranteed placement in that winners bracket match up between 37 AMAC lovers and Slushy, which has yet to be played, but that is not the case right now. It is the case of what is happening right in front of our screens. Free Mod 4 is about to happen, and Taikani, this could end up being the most beloved tiebreaker we could see if this map is going to be a win for OWC Ready.
It could be. Let me shout out the credits once again before we get into the map. Original song by Log, original beat map by Type 4, and original background by Darkos. Incredible work from the Resurrection Cup team. throughout this match, throughout this map in Free Mod 4, an incredible Resurrection Cup original. Glad we see one at the end. I really thought we might not see any. Again, it's going to be a really tough one. This flow tech is a really tough thing, I think, for Waddle Dee to go into after the hidden 3. So they have to feel really confident on this. You have to imagine, like, you have to hope and pray that your team sheet is putting thumbs up emojis on those scores.
A little fun fact to put down on the tiebreaker rate that we had: out of 53 maps, or excuse me, 52 matchups that have been played, only 3 have went to tiebreaker. That is a 0.05%, or excuse me, that is a 5% rate of tiebreakers that have happened in this match, the matches in the Resurrection Cup. And if we do see this match go up to tiebreaker, that will be up to a 7% rate of tiebreakers. So into this Free Mod 4, ladies and gentlemen, the same roster yet again for Waddle Dee. And I believe it is another sub out for Gonza into this Free Mod 4. It is Nekore, Gonza, Alfeu on the side of OWC Ready, UFO, Pikapone, and Nujabes, aka TS Fury for Waddle Dee. Free Mod 4, Taikani, let's get this run.
Here we go. Nekore Nujabes on the Hard Rock once again. The rest of the lobby on the hidden. First Ki upcoming. TTV UFO, the first to fall. A huge chain miss. Nekore follows it up, but much less of an accuracy punishment from the chain miss early on. That said, Waddle Dee still an accuracy advantage, but it is neck and neck right now. The next breakdown is determined so much as we go through this flow tech. Nekore finds another break through this first Ki, ending the first Ki, more and more spacing, more cuts. Nujabes goes down. This big full combo gone. Gonza and Alfeu, 2 FCs left against 1 in Pikapone. Recovered supporting combo now from TTV UFO. Going to be able to capitalize if a break comes through. But the song is going to slow down a little bit. So you have to hope if you're OWC ready, you can just capitalize on this lower section to keep the combos up. But these streams do not calm down. Huge space burst. Everyone hits through.
It's 30k score difference. It might not seem a lot in the long run, but this is quite a lot of combo to kind of make up for in this 3-minute 33-second map. But now these combos are kind of huge, where a lot of these combos make a lot of sense for to hold, but that's a Gonza break. And now that score difference might as well just be on the side of Waddle Dee, because that's a lot of combo to drop in the midsection. It's a huge score. There's a lot of combo now for Waddle Dee. Alfeu, the only FC on the board, to par on with Pikapone, and Nekore on the Hard Rock to par with TS Fury. But that's another Alfeu break, and that's the break you don't want to happen. That FC is gone. It's gone away. You see that tiebreaker potential happening, but all your dreams are being flushed away from Waddle Dee.
Nekore finds another chain break. Gonza finds another break. It's disaster in the second half of the map. TTV UFO is fully recovered, fully back online, still comfortable in hidden tech, and Pikapone still holding an FC. 99% accuracy to top it. Cut streams, it's no problem for these two. UFO, the American, Pikapone, the Canadian, bringing it forth for NA. The last quarter of the map upon us, and there's nothing the Chileans can do at this juncture. 250k, the lead. Waddle Dee, a little underseeded, but it doesn't matter when you get it done in the main bracket. They're headed to the winner's side of the finals. No tiebreaker, no scare for them. Sure, it looked a little spooky. Oh no, you went from 4-0 winning to 5-4, still winning. But you won. That's all that matters at the end of the day. You lose your combos right at the end.
What is this section?
But you have done it if you're Waddle Dee. A dominant score on this Free Mod 4. Everything they needed to secure it on Thanks for Your Raving.
I'm going to talk about this section. What am I looking at? Anyways, that is the end of the match. Pikapone shaking like he has tremors right now. And that is OWC Ready. Your valiant efforts are not going to be covered up by this matchup at all. It was the best comeback you could ever ask for. Down 5-1, almost forcing tiebreaker. You cannot ask for a better matchup for Waddle Dee. But for the first time, that team finally gets a top 3 placement in the Resurrections Cup series. And Codename Genesis Finals winners bracket will be awaiting your next weekend.
Yeah, Waddle Dee playing so amazing throughout a lot of this bracket, and it's a well-earned top 3 placement for this team. Of course, OWC Ready are not out of it yet. At 6-4, I mean, they were missing a player. I want to remind you that Intercamming is team captain and wasn't here. So OWC Ready, I mean, fought super well, and I mean, throughout the next few matches, I imagine are going to have Intercamming to keep the fight going. They are not out of this yet. Certainly not. Waddle Dee showing why they are here. You DC'd a little bit, C10, things happen, not the qualifiers you expected. It doesn't matter if you don't get the qualifiers you expected. When you're doing this, right? You're still making it to the winner's side finals. You're still showing off the GOATs. Waddle Dee. It's a beautiful win. No forced, once again, not forced to play that super heavy tech tiebreaker in Delusions Connect. Able to move on cleanly. Little scare. It doesn't matter at the end of the day.
Well, that's going to be your winners bracket semifinals matchup for you guys, ladies and gentlemen. We still got a couple of matchups, 3 more in the in this semifinals weekend. We got 2 in the losers bracket, both happening at 14 UTC.
Well, we're doing a showcase of the tiebreaker. The teams have agreed to play the tiebreaker on stream. So we're gonna pan right back. Let's hold the discussions of the end. Let's hold the discussions of let's go to the next match, because let's continue this one a little for fun tiebreaker showcase. This one, original song by N-Dog featuring QZ, dynamic duo. We want to talk about Pikapone and UFO. It's N-Dog and QZ, the real dynamic duo of Resurrection Cup. Their 3rd year in a row working with each other for a song on this tournament. In 2024, it was Delusions. That's right, Delusions with no following word. In 2025, it was Heartbreak, and this year it is Delusions Connect. Not by yours truly, actually. It's my 3rd year doing the semifinals tiebreaker, so very excited with Delusions Connect. Other credits on this map are the preview video from the map pool showcase was made by Aquatic, who is also a commentator on this tournament. Fun fact: a storyboard by Darkos. Thank you, Darkos. And a background by Try Pizza. Very, very talented team behind this map. Delusions Connect, 8.56 stars after the rework, by the way. I promise you this was only 8.16 on upload, but the PP devs had another thing in mind, and here is Delusions Connect, a hidden player of peace for these teams on this, once again, for fun tiebreaker showcase.
It's a beautiful masterpiece that we have for the semifinals. How was your experience mapping this cycle?
Oh man, dude, this was stressful. Okay, I actually want to talk about this because this is something that this is a very rare experience as a mapper. Of course, Delusions Connect is the sequel to 2024's N-Dog Grand Finals tiebreaker Delusions, which was not mapped by me. So one of the challenges that I had as a mapper was, how do I take this song, with great respect to Naomi and Twinkle, the original mappers of Delusions, and how do I make this equal to a map that I didn't create? Which it was a very, very interesting mapping experience. I had a lot of thought of like, this was one of the most like thought about maps that I've ever made.
Absolutely beautiful. I mean, mapping some custom songs are one of the best privileges you could have as a mapper, and also making custom songs for OSU tournaments are also one of, if not the best privilege you could have as an artist in the EDM scene, which is underrated as hell. So to see this tiebreaker be played out, 1FC is on the board, and that's on UFO. This guy might be up with them.
Okay. You know what? We just don't talk about this anyway. We just don't talk about it.
Goodbye.
Yeah, I mean, UFO is one of those players, like, every once in a while, every few years, we have a player who just comes out of nowhere and starts just going crazy. Malashevsky was this player once, right? I remember Malashevsky, Ciccone, like these players just kind of coming out of nowhere and just shredding through tournaments. UFO really feels like the next up in that sense, and really put forth a dominant performance for Waddle Dee. UFO was consistently putting forth tier top scores on every single map in this match, so perhaps fitting that they were holding such an insane combo in the tiebreaker. But you know who else is holding insane combos right now? Nekare, Nujabes, and Peekaboo. Oh, here comes the big part. Okay, this is where it gets really hard. Nujabes breaks right before. Okay, this part, I will tell you this right now, this part was nerfed the very most. I'm being so serious when I tell you that this part made the map 9 stars. In the original version, this part is what makes the map 9.5 stars. It's ridiculous.
What's the star rating now? It should be like 8 something?
8.5?
It was 9.5. What do you mean?
I don't want to talk about it.
You nerfed it an entire star rating.
Dude, I'm telling you. Okay. So once again on the mapping process, because this map was made to have such great respect to these mappers who I so dearly love, who mapped the original Delusions. I really wanted to get it right, and part of that was mapping it my way before I mapped it the tournament way. I essentially told Pez when I said in my preview, it's like, I'm going to continue mapping it at a difficulty that is intentionally too high for the tournament because that is how I think the song should be mapped. And then, you know, we'll figure out the rest later. And so the map got pretty significant nerfs, which is why there's 2 different diffs. UFO stopped playing, by the way. Goodbye, UFO. But it leads to a pretty funny note that the top diff is currently 9 stars after the rework.
Around.
Okay, Nekare. Okay, look at that combo. Huge recover combo. Everybody else like had so many breaks. Nekare putting it forth. Oh no, dude, they're breaking on the sliders. No, dude. Oh man, I'm so glad they didn't play this in match. Can you imagine? Can you imagine they play this in match, they don't know about the big sliders, and they like break, there's like a consequential break that like changes the flow of the match? Dude, that'd be crazy.
This is low-key kind of beautiful. This sounds so good, and it plays really well too.
Dude, this song, I'm being so serious when I tell you, like, I had tears in my eyes the first time I listened to this song, dude. I begged to map this song. I'm so serious. Like, the pooling team that can pull up my mapping application, I begged to map this song. I wanted it so bad. N-Dog is so incredible, and like this song is like peak. It's legitimately the peak.
Okay, N-Dog is low-key underrated. I'm gonna be honest, bro. Not a lot of people like know N-Dog like that.
More people need to know about N-Dog. One of the greatest, truly. But that is the end of a tiebreaker showcase. Congratulations once again to Waddle Dee on winning the match. OWC Ready putting up such a fight. A little tiebreaker just for fun, just to show what could have been. Waddle Dee at the end of the day, no matter what.
Still got those couple of matches that I mentioned earlier. 14 UTC, both losers bracket matches happening. So there'll be 2 streams up for those 2 matches, but as well as a very, very late match happening in Tuesday, 3 UTC for that last winners bracket match against 37 AMAC Lovers and Slushy. I believe that's everything we have to cover. Anything else you want to close with, Taikani?
The only thing I want to close with is saying there's still so much more Resurrection Cup left to watch. This is only the semifinals. There's 3 matches left to watch, even within this semifinals. Awkwardly, match 53 and 54 are going to be at the exact same time, July 12th at 14 UTC. That is, in fact, today at 14 UTC. And one July 14th, that's Tuesday at 3 UTC, is the winners bracket match. Even past that, there's still the finals and the grand finals still left to watch. So much high-level OSU yet to see. So much amazing creative works from musicians, mappers, illustrators alike left to see. So please, drop a follow, keep on watching Resurrection Cup. It's only going to get more intense and more exciting from here.
Thank you, everybody. See you guys next time.